On the news, Bishop of Osun North, the Right Reverend Abiodun Taiwo Olaoye, sent relief package to the clergy and members of the diocese. Shehu Sani, former Kaduna lawmaker, reacts to methods adopted by President Muhammadu Buhari's government to identify beneficiaries of the conditional cash transfer scheme. Amazon tech workers call for a virtual one-day strike to pressure the online retail giant over warehouse safety conditions during the coronavirus pandemic. Hello and welcome to ACNN News on the Hour. I am Phoebe Agirenhue. As part of the church's responsibility in caring for the well-being of her members and supporting the vulnerable in her midst, the diocesan bishop of the Diocese of Osun North, His Lordship, the Right Reverend Abiodun Taiwo Olaoye, has sent relief package to the clergy and members of the diocese. The bishop in his message also encouraged members of the diocese to remain strong in their faith, stressing that this coronavirus pandemic will surely phase out, while the word of God stands forever. The Anglican Bishop of the Diocese of Owo, the Right Reverend Stephen Fagbemi, has shared his opinion regarding stopping church services at this time. He made this known in a statement made available to ACNNTV. According to him, it should not be seen from anyone depriving genuine and disciplined worshippers of the opportunity to gather and pray together. He said if coronavirus is going to spread around, which he prayed that heaven forbids, it cannot be in the context of worship, but much more in the traditional market context, and that it would seem therefore to amount to paying lip service to fighting this virus if markets are allowed to function. As usual, with plenty of people moving without keeping any social distancing and without maintaining any of the protocols that the NCDC has commissioned, while churches and mosques are closed. The bishop further described the church as a partner in maintaining public health and not an enemy, urging the government to let the people meet to pray and worship in a scattered manner. The Vice Chancellor of Ajayi Crowther University, the Right Reverend Professor Dakpo Asaju, has assured staff of the university that he would ensure that the institution continues to pay their salaries in spite of the lockdown and restriction of movements occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic. Professor Asaju gave the assurance during an online meeting of the University Senate hosted from his office. At the meeting, members of the University Senate and other staff, usually in attendance, joined from their respective homes in Lagos, Benin, Enugu, Ibadan, and other parts of the country, where they had gone to be with their families following the decision of the university to shut down in compliance with the directive of the National University Commission, NUC. The Vice-Chancellor told lecturers to continue to engage students through online lectures and assignments, in line with a previous decision of the University Senate prior to the closure of the university over the coronavirus and lockdown of many states in the country. The university librarian, on the prompting of the Vice-Chancellor, informed the Senate that the T.Y. Danjuma Library in the university has made materials available online for staff and students to continue their academic work in the face of the lockdown. Former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, has reacted to the death of 14 people at IDP camp on Thursday due to a fire outbreak. It was reported that no fewer than 700 shelters were destroyed by fire in an internally displaced persons camp at Mafa local government area of Borno State. Reacting, the former Vice President in a tweet via his Twitter account on Friday expressed sadness over the unfortunate incident, praying for the souls of the deceased to rest in peace. Shehu Sani, former Kaduna lawmakers, reacted to the method adopted by President Muhammadu Buhari's government to identify beneficiaries of the Conditional Cash Transfer (CCT) scheme. It will be recalled that the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Sadiya Umar, had disclosed that Nigerians who buy 100 naira call credit are considered as poor and are amongst those qualified to get the palliatives. She added that those with account balance of 5,000 naira or less will be among the beneficiaries of the Conditional Cash Transfer scheme. She explained that aside the National Social Register, bank verification numbers, BVN, record of purchase of airtime by mobile phone owners was part of the yardsticks. Reacting, Sani condemned the method by the federal government while making reference to the minimum wage of 30,000 naira. He further called on security agencies to be more lenient on enforcing lockdown orders in the states. Still to come, World Health Organization warns that Africa could become the next epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. That story and more will come your way in a moment. Please stay tuned.
Not that I mean to undermine polytechnics, they do a good job, but university education is actually more valuable.
What teacher is supposed to do is to identify those people that are very, very slow in learning.
When you discover your child is not performing well in a particular subject, it's for you to encourage the child and find out ways to assist the child.
I don't give respect to the school in which you graduated from. What I see in you and I expect is what you can offer. And this is what polytechnic education equipped the graduate with.
There's no longer white-collar jobs. They are nowhere to be found. The population is increasing on a daily basis and the government cannot provide all the needed jobs for the bobbing youths.
It's the doctor that the patient has to get a prescription from. The reason is that when the patient comes, the patient gets a card and is directed to see the physician.
The word of God is God's instrument for deliverance. The Bible said in Psalm chapter 107 verse 20 that he sent forth his word and he led them from every destruction. All men that were of great generational impact were men who encountered God via the word. In this age of shallow Christianity, where many are no longer committed to discipleship, we need the word of God in order not to be tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. For true Christian growth and maturity, there is no substitute for the word. Later on, St. Paul wrote to the church in Colossians and said, let the word of God dwell richly amongst you. The word of God is God. Bible said in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Join me and other men of God on this station weekly as we learn at the feet of Jesus. Wednesday is 2 p.m., Saturday is 11 a.m., and Sunday 6:15 a.m. God bless you.
Why do we fall ill? Is it possible to stay without falling ill? Is God interested in our health? Can we get access to cheaper health anywhere? Do you want tips on how to stay healthy? Then join me, Angela Weze, on Health Watch every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. with repeat broadcasts on Thursday at 2 p.m. and Saturday at 1:30 p.m. as health experts provide answers to your questions on how to remain healthy physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually here on. God bless you.
Thanks for staying tuned. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at ACNNTV.com or our social media platforms on Facebook.com or YouTube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, download the VM Africa app from Android and iOS stores. And now to the international scene. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that Africa could become the next epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. The organization stated that the continent does not have enough ventilators to deal with the pandemic, and there was a sharp rise in the cases in the past weeks. The organization's African director, Dr. Moeti, told the BBC that the organization had witnessed the virus spreading from capital cities to the hinterland in South Africa, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, and Ghana. She said they were focusing on prevention rather than treating the virus because African countries don't have the capacity to treat many coronavirus patients. The Archbishop of Canterbury has walked back his instructions to clergy not to enter their churches during the coronavirus pandemic, telling the BBC his words were merely guidance, not a binding directive. The Most Reverend Justin Welby's statement on the Andrew Marshall broadcast on Easter Sunday followed a week of public opposition from clergy across the church theological spectrum, culminating in negative news coverage in the Times and Telegraph the day before the interview. On 24th March 2020, the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Archbishop of York, the Most Reverend John Sentamu, published a letter to the clergy of the Church of England following Prime Minister Boris Johnson's call for houses of worship to be closed temporarily to halt the spread of the coronavirus. The diocesan bishops also issued their own pastoral admonitions to parish clergy. The Bishop of Rochester, the Right Reverend James Langstaff, wrote to office holders in his diocese, saying the bishops had discussed the Prime Minister's directive and had agreed to abide with his request. Amazon tech workers are calling for a virtual one-day strike to pressure the online retail giant over warehouse safety conditions during the coronavirus pandemic. The e-commerce colossus is believed to have had COVID-19 cases in a number of its warehouses and has seen employee protests and walkouts in several of them to press for safety improvements. The workers group Amazon Employees for Climate Justice called on colleagues to call in sick on April 24, accusing the company of firing workers protesting a lack of coronavirus safety precautions and environmental issues. Denmark has said it will begin to open up more businesses next week as it further eases virus restrictions. Following late-night negotiations between the main political parties, the government announced a deal for extending the first phase in the country's return to normality. Denmark began reopening schools for younger children on Wednesday after a month-long closure to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, becoming the first country in Europe to do so. Danish courts will also start to hear more cases after being limited to handling only critical ones. The World Health Organization's European office urged countries to make sure sufficient safeguards were in place before starting to ease restrictions. Austria, Italy and Spain have also allowed some businesses to reopen. And now moving on to sport, the Spanish Football Association has announced its decision on the La Liga if the season is abandoned due to the coronavirus pandemic. The General Secretary, Andrew Camps, noted that the 4 clubs on top of the most recently completed round of the La Liga season standings would qualify for next season's UEFA Champions League. Consequently, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Sevilla and Real Sociedad are the 4 teams that will go through. Clubs had played 27 matches before the Spanish Football Association suspended play on March 12. Getafe and Atletico Madrid, the teams in 5th and 6th place, will qualify for the Europa League. However, the result of the Copa del Rey final, if played, could impact which team grabs the final Europa League spots. That's it on the news. Thanks for being with us. My name is Phoebe Agireyu. Do have yourselves a lovely weekend. God bless you.